Hello and welcome, this is Mouse Gunner and we're back with some more Battle Brothers. We have just completed the introductory questline of finding and killing Hoggart the Weasel, and now as far as I understand, we're free to take contracts as we please. But before I do that, I would like to go through my company and just overview the warriors in our employ and just see, maybe we got to level up here and just see how that works. So first let's start off with Merc the farmer. So looking over things here, he still has brave. His mood, all right, we can see things are affecting it. So gain confidence in your leadership, won a battle, which we did, suffered an injury, which he has, and because he recently was hired, that also is boosting him a little bit. So he's good in spirit, which he has a 25% chance to start battle at a confident morale. He has a split shoulder, which gives him minus 50% damage inflicted. And he is content for now with being in reserve, so we probably should put him in reserve. And then we also have a cut arm, which is going to reduce his melee skill and range skill, as well as we see the content for being reserved. So we probably should put him in reserve. It's going to take a little while to heal this up, so probably we should stick him in reserve just for now. Okay, going through to the next guy. So this guy has light injuries, which are only going to take a day to heal. It's not even listed here, so I don't know if it's really anything we need to worry about necessarily. But going through here, mostly I just want to see his morale. So he's eager, which is going to be, I'm assuming, the bright green that we see here. And it's more or less the same kind of things, plus the got drunk with the company, so I'm not really sure why he still has this mood effect and some of the other ones do not, but that seems to be the case because I'm pretty sure Merc the farmer was with us when that happened. Alright, well, Alric here, looks like he leveled up. Click here to level up, so it looks like we do have to do something with that, but let's going through. Companion, he's brave, he's tough, so he has plus 10 hit points, and he's also eager. But he still has that mood effect for losing most of the company from when we started the campaign. Alright, so let's go ahead and figure out how leveling up works, because it seems like he's the only one that has a level up. Okay, so it looks like what I do here is I choose what it is that I want it to level up. Okay, so looks like we can affect pretty much all of his stats. The one thing I'm not clear on is if we click this, does it give us +4 in that category? So it looks like maybe some categories he can more easily boost than others. Well, I really like fatigue, and I think that's important. Hit points may be important as well. I'm not really sure what the 2 stars mean, as opposed to the 1 star and then the no stars. Well, let's say we click one of these, right? Okay, so from what I can see, we did boost that, so if we hit cancel here, go back. So we did indeed boost that by 4, but it looks like we can only boost it once, and we have 3 overall boosts. So we get to choose where we want to boost things. So resolve represents the willpower and bravery of this character, and they should have already a bonus for being brave, so I don't know if that's factored in or not. Okay, the higher, less likely the character will fall to lower morale states. Okay, so on and so forth. And then we have initiative. The higher the value, the earlier the position in the turn order. Initiative is reduced by character current fatigue, as well as any penalty maximum fatigue, such as from heavy armor. See, this is one thing I haven't really gone over with the way fatigue works. The more equipment you carry, some equipment will have reductions to your fatigue, so it's kind of a trade-off. You either are more well-armed and more well-armored, but have less fatigue, or you're not as well-equipped or well-armored, and you have a lot more fatigue to work with, but maybe you go down easily. So it is very much a trade-off in how you want to do things, but having a lot of armor can at times be tricky, I think, to manage just because of all of the penalties you have. So I think fatigue is very important, so I'm definitely going to bring that up. Outside of that, I kind of like the idea of bringing up resolve as well. I feel like we should also maybe focus on a combat stat. Like defense here seems like it might be a good thing to go for, and we would get 3 from that, so I'm going to go with one of those. And then we have one other area to affect. Well, because this guy's going to be a front liner, I think resolve is probably more important than initiative. perhaps. So let's go ahead and up that. Just because we don't want him fleeing on us and causing us issues. Alright, well that's going to be his level up. And moving through. Yeah, so this guy still waiting to level up. Okay, a brute. Also loyal. It doesn't really specifically tell you what... Oh, okay, so much less likely to leave you even if you run out of crowns or provisions. So he's just going to stick around with us. And then we have plus 15% damage, but lower skill. And then he's also in good spirit. Moving through. This guy had a lot of things. So fat, he gets hit points, but he lowers fatigue. He's gluttonous, so he eats more. Well, that goes together pretty well. And then outside of that, nothing really to write home about other than his current morale state. Most of the guys we have are in pretty good spirits. I'm just a little bit curious of why some had that mood effect from the drinking and some do not. Maybe only so many of them will do so. And then we also have this guy has survivor, so he's much more likely to survive bad injuries. And he also has a light injury that's going to fade in a couple days here. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and get our contract now that we've gone over everything. So we're going to go back into Crackdorf here and take a look at the contract available. Negotiations. You look out the Gerhard, the treasurer's window, and watch men load a few wagons with goods. Gerhard the treasurer joins you, 2 goblets of wine in hand. You take one drink. You take one and drink it all in one swig. The man stares at you. That wasn't cheap. You're supposed to enjoy it. You shrug. Sorry, can I have another to get it right? Gerhard the treasurer turns around and goes to his desk. So I need a caravan guarded to Grafenberg. Pretty simple, right? There's plenty of crowns in it for you if you're interested. So... what does it pay? Okay, jingles with a bag of coins. This will be yours if you help me out on this. You'll get 190 crowns when the contract is done. That's not a ton of money, but it's something. I'm not going to complain about it, though, I don't think. From what I understand of this particular faction, they're tight-fisted, which means that they're not really willing to pay a lot of money for things. I think for now, we're just going to accept the offer because we haven't done a whole lot in Crackdorf, and I don't want to be too much of a bother. I've not been to this other location, too, so I think it's just a nice way to ride along with the caravan, perhaps. All right, so I accept your offer. All right, so we're going to escort this caravan to Grafenberg. I've never done anything like this, so I'm not exactly sure how it works, and you get 190 crowns, which is not a lot of money if we do the job. So... we're just going to go ahead and accept the contract. I accept this contract. But we can still shop around and what have you while we're here. So, first thing I think I want to do... I'm pretty happy with where we are supply-wise. I think we can manage okay. So the real thing is, do we have any arms that we could buy? We could get better armor with thick tunic. I'm fairly certain that would help at least somebody in our company. This is a downgrade to everything I think we're currently equipped with. The hatchet might be a good weapon, but really what I would be looking for here is another pitchfork to give me that range 2 poke, or just a, an upgrade to someone somewhere. So I may buy the thick tunic here, just because I think it'd be a good investment. It doesn't cost a ton of money, so go ahead and buy one of those. And it doesn't look like, as I said, there's any weapons or anything that really I'm all that interested in. So I think we're just going to leave at this point. We could buy provisions, but I think we have plenty of provisions for now. And then don't think there's anyone that we're really interested in hiring at the moment, even though some of these guys might be cheap. And let's go ahead and take a look at our company now, because we do have that. little bit of upgrade. So, leather tunic, little torn up. The thick tunic definitely is better. This, I think, is the best armor we have right now. So, moving on. Rugged. Okay, so that's 55, so that's pretty good. You know what? I think I'm going to take this guy's hat off. And I'm going to give it to our big guy with the axe for now. It's still showing the indicator of leveling up. I don't know if I want to give him the bandana specifically, but he is kind of a frontliner for now. And the outfit we just got is definitely better than what he currently has on. So I think we're going to remove the linen tunic and put on that. Now, just going over, as I was discussing, maximum fatigue, -2, because this is a little bit heavier garb. The linen tunic he had on before has no fatigue reduction. And as we see, the heavier the gear you're wearing, the more the fatigue, maximum fatigue bonus or penalty is. Same thing is true with weapons. So you see, just by carrying this, maximum fatigue is -14. So if you ever had it in your head that, oh, well, what happens if this weapon broke? Maybe you should have a backup weapon like this. Well, you're going to pile on more and more fatigue just by carrying it, let alone whether or not you're using it or not. So you don't want to weigh yourself too much down unless it's something that you really can use. Something like this knife, though, on the other hand, this doesn't weigh really anything all that much, so it doesn't give you a fatigue penalty, so it's not really a big deal to carry it. So in theory, I could arm all of my troops with knives or what have you, but really it's more of an advantage to somebody like this that would need to change weapons. Okay, so I think we're more or less good to go. I may unequip this shield just for now, because this guy's in reserve, and if we don't use him in the fight, then, well, that's a shield we could have used with the peddler here. And I may upgrade him to this bludgeon as well. I mean, in theory, the cleaver does the same kind of damage, and it is a different type of damage, but this is more effective against armor. Now, we might not be fighting guys with armor, so it may not matter. And this is less fatigue versus this. So it is, you know, you're kind of figuring what is the better deal overall with what you want to do. But I think I'm okay with the bludgeon, because I like some of the attack choices you have. I mean, this has a decapitation, but with this guy's skill, probably not the best. I think the bludgeon's probably a better weapon for him. Alright, so I think we are equipped properly. One thing I do want to check real quick before we go anywhere is just making sure, yeah, this guy is getting ammunition restored to him. And I think we're good to go. The only concern I would have is that some of these food items that we have are going to go bad pretty quickly, but I think we'll manage okay. We could also sell that one tunic that we just got, or we just replaced, but for now I'm going to keep it around. Alright, so I think we're more or less ready to head out. So let's unpause here. And it looks like we're already going with the trade caravan, so I don't have to do anything here. Iron Crown Company, that's something new. So it was a different, maybe mercenary company? Ooh, a little bit of maybe fog of war being... Okay, during camp. As is customary, you assemble the men to explain the company's next steps. Brothers, the Mouse's cadets must show the world we are forged of a hotter fire than other mercenary bands. As our reputation grows, so will the influx of crowns to our coffers. Let us forge a path to greatness. What do you tell the men of the company? Alright, what do you tell the men the company will do? Okay, we need allies, forging a bond of friendship and trust with one of the towns will get the company better prices, more volunteers, and more steady work. We shall get the company's strength back to 12 men. It will make us a formidable force again, and will allow us to take on more profitable work. I agree with this one because I don't think it's that far away to do. Okay, so I guess that's kind of a mini objectives that we have now. This also, as we move along, helps us out because it heals people that had injuries. So this guy's only a day away, and this guy still has his major injuries, so we're having to deal with that. And of course, our other major concern is just our food and whether or not it's going to last. I think it will. I'm going to kind of try and look around here. Oh, so we're almost already there. So this was just a milk run so far. Although this town looks kind of smashed up in here. Okay, at Grafenberg. The wagon train drives into Grafenberg, each cart bumbling and tumbling their tall wheels over mounds of dried mud. The caravan hands work to unload... Yeah, the caravan hands work to unload the cargo, a few of them fighting off a beggar or two. The leader of the train hands you a satchel, and that's about all he does. He's too busy with his work to say much more to you. The silence is appreciated. You gain 190 crowns. Okay, and this is now well supplied. So, I guess that was our first contract, and it went pretty darn well. Now, we do have to consider the fact that we did consume supplies while we traveled and what have you, but I don't think that's, you know, really that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, and easily earned money in my opinion. And it also allowed guys to recover from injuries. I think this guy's still going to be out for a while, but... Alright, well, let's go ahead and go into Grafenberg because we haven't been in there yet. Alright, so this is a much more developed town, it looks like, with more things going on. We don't have a Fletcher, but now we have a weaponsmith, an armorer, and a kennel. Oh, interesting. Dogs of war. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so what do we have here? Ghost the War Dog. A strong and loyal dog bred for war. Can be unleashed in battle for scouting, tracking, or running down routing enemies. Interesting. See, I wasn't aware that this was a thing, and it looks like you have different kind of levels of the dog, so these ones are a little bit more equipped. It looks like the description is slightly different. This one wears a leather coat of protection against cutting wounds. They are pretty expensive, though, and I don't know if that's something we're going to use just yet, but it is definitely an option for the future. Let's take a look at the weaponsmith. This is probably going to be of interest to us. So we've got some pretty nice weapons here, but they are very expensive at the moment. But it's nice to see a little bit more of a variety. Wow, even the daggers are a little bit outside our affordable range. Short sword. The markup is pretty outrageous, though. It's worth 350 and he's charging us 426. This is kind of where we probably should build up town's appreciation so that they aren't charging us these kind of prices. And then we also have an armor. Shields would be, I'd be interested in getting. But I'm almost actually to the point where I'm satisfied with how many shields we have. So we've got a number of helmets. Again, this is a little bit outside of our affordable range. So I'm not really, I think, prepared to take something like this because we're paying the kind of money we just got from this job, well, more than that, to get just one bit of equipment. Let's see what's at the marketplace nonetheless, though. I mean, it's expensive to run a mercenary company, apparently. Dried fruits. They last a decent amount of time. And they're worth 80, but they're underselling them. Interesting. Might buy one of these. So it's kind of interesting to see what's being upsold and what's being downsold. So the dried fruits are being sold for less than they're worth. But things like the beer are being sold for much more than they're worth. So I'm sure, just like Mountain Blade Warband, you could probably go through this just trading commodities back and forth through the towns if you were willing to keep track of what sold for what prices where. Now, granted, it looks like we don't have that. For instance, my bandages versus... Oh, medical supplies, I think, are a little bit different than bandages, I guess. This is probably something you're supposed to carry in combat. Something that I don't think I've been doing. Yeah, see, bandages 25. Now, unfortunately, I apparently cannot sell things for anywhere near what they're worth in these towns. At the moment, anyway. I am interested in picking up another one of these pitchforks, though. As I think it would be a good idea for our mercenary company to have another one of these range 2 weapons. It seemed like that was really effective. The downside is if our line gets overwhelmed, it can be a big problem. But let's take a look at our mercenary company right now. So we have a back line of 3 men right now, and we could upgrade that to 4 men, but then that would bring our front line down to 4 men, and I don't think that's ideal. I think we're going to want a larger front line than we have a back line, just to ensure that these guys are protected back here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at maybe hiring some more men. So let's take a look at who's available. So the Houndmaster might come with a hound. That would be interesting. But we don't know that for sure. We've got somebody with a crossbow. He's a witch hunter. Very expensive, though, outside of our affordability. We've got another farmhand. It doesn't look like he comes with the pitchfork, unlike our other farmhand that we hired. But from what I've seen of that other farmhand, not a bad purchase. A lot of these guys are very expensive. We also have a mason here. Used to physical labor and studying to improve his craft, but no obvious bonuses. And then we also have a bastard. All right. So a lot of really expensive guys and then a couple cheap guys. Well, I might pick up the mason here, as I feel like he's a good value. This guy gives us a knife along with the purchase, but I don't think that's necessarily worth it. I'd rather just arm him with what we're going to get. But I'm going to go ahead and grab Torhelm the Bricklayer and hire him. That gets us up to 9 men. I don't know if I want to go any higher than that right now, although the other farmhand might be worth getting. But I think we should evaluate what we have right now. So ideally, we'd have another frontline man in Merc once he is healed up fully. We're still a ways away from being able to pull that off, though. Now, if we take a look at the Bricklayer here, he's fearless, so he's even better than brave. So I'm really happy with him being in the front line. As far as the skill goes, he is much better melee skill than our peddler here. And otherwise, he's actually maybe not that bad of a backup archer, because comparatively, his range skill is not that bad. We could work on him there, and he does have a star devoted to it. I don't know if that makes him better at those particular things. And looking through, yeah, he doesn't seem like he's that bad, so I think the tough question is, do we put him in the back line or do we put him in the front line? And the reason why I'm not sure of that is the peddler might seem like he's a really crappy fighter, and he might indeed be really crappy, but at the same time, he's got, you know, good hit points. And as much as he can't hit very much of anything, I think having him in the front line, just soaking damage with his shield, is probably a better move than having him in the back line where his accuracy is more important. So I think I'm actually going to end up putting this guy in the back line. Maybe. Right now I don't have the arms to do that, but I think what I'm going to do here, and I do have to keep in mind that we have to maintain our company by paying them, so I don't want to spend too much gold here. But I think we get another pitchfork here. We're going to have to repair it, but I don't think that's that big of a deal, and we will get it on a discount as a result. We buy another pitchfork here, and that gives us a little bit of a ranged poke. And then we buy another shield as well, and again, it's quite a bit on discount because it's beat up. So we're going to have to repair it, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. So go ahead and buy that. And I think we're more or less good for our front line. So we're down to 642. I think that's manageable. And I'm going to go ahead and leave. So let's come back over to our company. And the first thing I'm going to do is go over to the items that are damaged and tell them that they need to be repaired. Okay. And then we're going to give the pitchfork to this guy for now. And the shield will go to Merc here in the back. On the other hand, though, this guy's very brave, so actually we might want him in the front line. So maybe replacing him with Berengar is a good call. Because Berengar is a little bit more accurate, but he's not quite as brave. Yeah, okay, so let's switch these guys as far as their role and their equipment. Berengar and Tornhelm. So Tornhelm's going to join the front line, but so we're going to be switching their gear around almost entirely here. So spear equipped, shield equipped, hat equipped, this guy. Oh, and also, there we go. And you get a pitchfork. Okay, so Berengar is now in the back, where we can take advantage of his good accuracy and close combat. And eventually we'll get Merc back and we'll have a deeper front line than we'll have a back line. And I might build the front line a little bit more as well. But for right now, I think with what gold we have and what equipment we have, this is a good starting point for our front line, our back line, and what have you. I think one other man up here will be picked up pretty shortly. In any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.